Hi guys, welcome to VK Technologies. So in today's session you will discuss about one more concept in DBMS. What is data? What is data? What is database? What is DBMS? What is SQL? Okay, so all these are relation to our database management system. So you will discuss what is what. So first coming to the data. So the data is an information which is unprocessed data, right? The data is unprocessed data. Unprocessed data. So there is no structure for the particular data. This data is no structured data. So only the data which is saved in an electronic mode and coming to the database, this is data is organization year. Organization organization data. Organization data, right? So the storage of organization data is known as database. Organization data is database. So here we'll be having a different models. So based on the model, the data will be organized. So coming to the RDBMS. RDBMS. BMS. So that means a relation database model. Okay, relation database model. So in this RDBMS, the data is stored in terms of rows and columns. Is data. Data is rows and columns. Columns. Simple you can say them as a table. Rows and columns, simple you just tell tables. The data will be stored in the form of tables. So one database can have multiple tables. One database can have multiple tables. So whatever the unprocessed data is available, that data will be processed in an organized data. That means it will be stored in a organized fashion, right? So that you can we call it as database, and a database can base multiple tables. Database is multiple tables. Multiple tables. So that means the data, multiple data can be stored in terms of our tables, and then the extraction for the database in .db. .db. Okay, so every file will be having the extraction, similarly the data files, and also having the extraction file .db. Then what about the DBMS? Now you have an unprocessed data, and that unprocessed data is organized in a structured fashion, which you call it as a database. And now if you want to access the data, that means managed the data. Managing the data means addition, that means adding some data or deleting some data or updating some data. So all type of multiple data can be done with the help this tool. So DBMS is a tool which is used to manage the database, meaning manipulation. Doing the manipulation by inserting the data. Okay, whatever the manipulation you can do, that can be done with the help of this tool. DBMS is a software or tool which is used in manage the data from database. Database are like how many database? Oracle database, MySQL, SQL Server, MongoDB, so there are more number of tools available in the DBMS. Okay, so in order to access the data from the database, okay, they manage the database. So this DBMS is a software tool, and database is a collection of organization data. So in order to process the data, that means in order to process the data, we need to retrieve the data. So if you want to add some data, if you want to delete some data, if you want to update some data, so that can be done with the help of one language called structured query language. So structured query language, so SQL is a structured query language which is used to manage the data in a database. That means if you want to insert the data, that should be done with the help of one common that is SQL. If you want to delete the data, will also be done with the help of SQL. So you common call them as queries. So you have to write the queries, and by means of queries only we can manipulation the data from the database. So here the terms manipulation mean both addition or deleting and updating, whatever it may be relative. So whenever it is a request So you can retrieve the data from the database. For everything you have to write the queries. So this queries you call it as structure query language. So with the help of structure query language, so the data from the database will be retrieved by using this DBMS tool. So even though there are a lot of DBMS tools, so in all the cases in the backend it will generate a queries, and by queries the data will be accessed from the database. So without the queries the data cannot be accessed from the database. So DBMS will be using this SQL commands to access the data from the database. So this is the major difference between the database DBMS and SQL. Hope you understand. SQL, hope you understood. The data is an unprocessed data, and if the unprocessed data is organized in a structured manner, that we call it as a database, and accessing that managing this database is done with the help of SQL structure query language. Okay, thank you.